It's been a little while since we've had a video uploaded to the channel. I must have enjoyed my weekend a little too much. But anyways, today I will be showing you my full Fu Xuan build in preparation for the character to release. Now this is under the assumption that of course I win my 50-50, because as you all know that does exist in this game. Now first of all I want to say March 7th is the placeholder for my build. I do not have any speed on my Fu Xuan, or in this case March 7th. I don't have any speed on the character, virtually like none, because I did find out that Fu Xuan buffs that she provides the team in form of mitigation as a defensive option actually doesn't matter whether or not how fast the characters are on the team. It matters whether or not Fu Xuan takes the amount of turns for the buffs to expire. So that alone let me know that I don't necessarily have to run a fast Fu Xuan, because I am using this Lyco that actually decreases the damage the allies take even more, which should stack with the damage mitigation she already provides to the team. So with this in combination with her kit, this should be a very powerful combo to where you don't necessarily need to have a very fast Fu Xuan. Now I do have some damage stats: crit rate, crit damage. I have very little effect resistance. I need a little bit more just in order to make sure that the character does get the enough needed for the broken kill set to actually have effect, which gives 10% crit damage to all allies when you have 30% effect res. And as you all know, trying to get like as all the stats you need for the character is really difficult. As for the headpiece, there really isn't much to talk about here other than a little bit of speed, crit damage because I have a DPS build, and some HP and defense there is pretty good. I mean, it has no rolls into it, which makes it even better. This piece has HP flat, no rolls into it, which is great, good enough. Crit rate, crit damage, break effect. You don't really need break effect on the character because she's gonna, if you have her slow as dirt like mine, then break effect is really useless because the character is not even going to necessarily break the toughness or be the one breaking the toughness of the enemy anyways. And then I do have HP percent chest piece with crit rate, a lot of rolls into it. I did get lucky with this piece, so I will be using this. I'm going to use this as a means to stop farming in the domain altogether, because I don't necessarily think I will get an upgrade furthermore after getting something like this. And then of course the boots I will be using is HP percent, crit rate, crit damage, effect res there. Honestly wish this was speed, because you know, even having a little bit of speed is still better than having no speed virtually. But as you all know, you can't really change substats in this game unlike other games. I do have speed main stat boots I can use if the build I'm using right now doesn't work out, which has HP and effect resistance, doesn't have any crit stats. But I mean, you can't really ask for all of that on speed boots because the main stat of speed is hard to get in the first place. I did get a quantum damage bonus today. It's not the best. It's probably one of the worst relics you'll probably ever see ever. It has attack percent, attack flat, flat HP with a roll into it, and then like one roll into crit damage. So it is virtually the worst relic you could have on Fu Xuan. But as you all know, quantum damage bonus, any main damage bonus main stat is just virtually impossible to get with good actual substats. And this is my main stat for the necklace. Is going to be HP percent, crit rate, crit damage, flat HP with a roll into it, and then defense percent, no roll into that, which is good enough. Of course, speed on it would be pretty good, and you can actually use a energy regeneration rate. I do have one with HP percent, crit damage, very nice rolls into the HP percent and crit damage, so I can use this if the build I'm using now doesn't work out. But I do want to have one with as much HP as I can get, because she does scale primarily on HP. Now, looking back at the ratio, if Fu Xuan does have crit traces, which I believe she probably will, then the crit ratio should be higher. She also does provide crit to the team. The crit buffs does work in the character's favor as well, because she gets the crit buffs too. So you'll have a lot more crit on the character to where if you have around 40%, you should be fine with having no more crit rate rolls into your relics. Now, I do want to talk about seal really quickly because I am changing the way I build my seal. I do have no speed on the character because, as you all know, this character, you really don't want to have speed. I'm going to be using, well, let me just go ahead and show the comp to you really quickly. So these are the three characters I'm going to be using alongside Fu Xuan. You can use Lynx instead of Bronya, or you can use any other quantum character. In that case, I'm using Bronya because I do want to have Seal doing the most damage in the team. As you all know, you really want to have a Harmony character with Seal as much as you can. In all scenarios, honestly, because this character takes advantage of all of the buffs that a character like Bronya provides. Like, she's like the best character to use alongside Bronya. And then Fu Xuan, of course, being another character in the team. Fu Xuan does do pretty decent damage. Every character here can do damage, but Bronya enhances the performance of Seal like crazy. So this is a no-brainer to have her in the team, even though it might not be a true quote-unquote mono quantum composition. Now, with that out of the way, I can show you exactly why I changed my build on Seal. So Seal now doesn't have as much attack as she once had. The attack is still pretty high, and she's only level 70, so her attack can go higher, but I am using a different main stat on the necklace. I recently did get attack percent boots with crit damage, which I'm so freaking happy about, and then break effect 2 is pretty good on the character with my build, and then the flat attack did get a roll into it, but one roll I'm not going to cry about it because all the other rolls went to crit. So again, I'm very happy. I did swap out my attack percent main for break effect because not only did it have better rolls in the crit stats, but this break effect will be really good on Seal in the mono quantum team, or the hybrid mono quantum team with Bronya, because Seal will be taking more turns in the comp with Silverwolf. So when I'm using a character like Bronya in a team comp with Seal in the mono quantum team with Silverwolf, as you all know, the more hits you can get on the enemy means you'll do more damage to the toughness. Well, if you have a character like Seal that is going to be attacking the enemy constantly, and you have a character like Bronya that can allow that character to get more hits on the enemy toughness bar, well, you'll have more chances in order to proc the weakness break effect with that character you're taking the turns with most of the time. So, therefore, I can benefit from having break effect on my Seal because I'm utilizing a character like Bronya to ensure that Seal will be the character breaking the enemy's toughness bar. Also important to take into consideration that in pseudo AoE situations, which is where you probably want to use a character like Fu Xuan anyways, because she applies damage on an AoE with her ultimate, and she mitigates damage from every enemy that hits her, well, you can take advantage of break effect when you're fighting pseudo AoE situations with Seal, because Seal is very good at clearing mobs anyways. I did think about using a character like Asta in the team comp, which isn't a bad thing, but the only issue I found with using Asta is that she doesn't really provide many buffs to Fu Xuan other than giving her just speed. So where you would want to use Asta in most scenarios is where Asta benefits the whole team, and if she doesn't really benefit Fu Xuan that much aside from giving speed to the character, which doesn't matter most of the time because she gives speed to the whole team, I don't really see her being in this team as viable as a character like Bronya that can just buff the one character you want to buff anyways, right? And Ting Yun is still pretty good in this composition. I would go as far as say with her being like other Harmony characters, while she'll have a higher taunt value, so she'll get hit more often, but Fu Xuan mitigating the damage means your Ting Yun will finally not get one shot. How crazy is that? This is one last team I do really want to try out with Fu Xuan, even though it is not mono quantum. It is just Fu Xuan being the defensive option in the team. She also does have ways of making sure your allies do not get CC'd, which I really do genuinely enjoy about that as a defensive character, right? Because it means you can actually replace your abundance characters in the team comps because, well, if she has a way of mitigating CC for the team, that makes it so where you don't have to use a character like Natasha or Luocha just for their CC negating effects. Fu Xuan does give crit rate, which means I will be just right above the amount I need in order to proc the inert Salsado effect I have on my Silverwolf's accessory, which means her build will finally be complete. I did not mention, but I should have mentioned earlier, that this team comp should work because Silverwolf and Fu Xuan are going to be the two skill point positive characters, and as long as you have two characters in the team comp that are skill point positive, you'll have a lot more skill points to work with, which means the two skill point hungry characters, Bronya and Seal, can utilize all the skill points they need. So there you have it. There's my Fu Xuan build finally complete. As you all know, of course, as I come across more relics, then I will change the build accordingly. I'm looking forward to having a better quantum damage boost or even an HP percent main stat for the spear because I am running the quantum set, which means I don't really need to have too much quantum damage boost, especially with Silverwolf already allowing your characters to do much more damage in the team comp. But having quantum damage boost will definitely boost her damaging capabilities as a defensive option. Which is crazy I'm saying that because most defensive, if not all the defensive characters in the game don't really do any damage. Unless you build your Luocha a crit rate and crit damage, which a lot of people advise against. I probably would if I had them. Thank you for watching and have a nice rest of your night. Peace out. From using the inert Salsado